Okay, next topic that we'll be learning is handling dynamic elements in Selenium WebDriver. So basically the scenario is whenever the Selenium is testing any web application, that time in the page there are a lot of things, details. So at that particular time, if there are some things which keeps on changing, for example, here you can see a user ID can be user 123 or it could be user 456. So if the Selenium is looking for user 123 and if the user is different, so at that time Selenium will give errors. It will be failing to locate the elements. So you can see that in user 123 and user 456, if you tell Selenium to look for the ID wherever the user is written, that time yes, in that case Selenium can identify even if it is user 123 or user 456. So we don't want the Selenium to fail or to locate any element. Okay, so there are some dynamic elements that keep on changing, just like in this case. So how can we handle this? Okay, so we can have errors like this: no such element exception, stale element reference exception. So test scripts may become unstable. So what are the techniques to handle them? Techniques to handle dynamic elements. The first one is using XPath. Let me just make single page view. Okay, so handling dynamic elements. So using XPath we can handle it. How? You can see that. So suppose there is an HTML file, input at user 123, user 456. ID is changing but user is constant. So what we can do in the code, we can simply write, okay, if the input contains ID user. Okay, so in that case you can see both of the cases are true. Selenium can find it. So find elements whose ID contains user. So that is what the case. This is the one of the technique to handle dynamic elements. Second is starts with. Okay, you can see that we can tell Selenium to look for the ID wherever the ID starts with user. So in that case, okay, also Selenium can locate it. So that is how it is, starts with ID, okay, user. So this is how it is. We can give in the code telling the informing the Selenium about the IDs. Okay, in this case also it will not fail. Next way is text. So we can see that in this login button, a login is visible, right? LOGIN. So we can tell the Selenium to look for a button in which login is written. Okay, so in that case also Selenium will be able to locate without fail. So this is what it is. Explanation, you can see, find a button that shows login on screen. Next, using CSS selectors also we can handle it. So what are this? Using CSS selectors, you can see that we are using some special symbols here. So what are these special symbols? So you can see the theory part. It is also used to locate elements. Okay, so there are some important CSS operators, special symbols. You can see if you use like this, it means starts with. So in the XPath, if you write input ID, it starts with user. Okay, so it will match user 123 also and user 456 also, but it will not match admin 123 because it doesn't start with user as we have indicated. Same thing has been written in this case. You can see same example. Okay, then contains star equal to contains user, that is you can see it contains user. So in this case it will match both of the cases, right? Because it contains user. My user has user, test user has user. Ends with 123. You can see this is the operator dollar equal to 123. So it will match user 123 and test 123. So these are the techniques to handle. The Selenium should not fail to find out. So there are, if these, you can see these are both of the things are different. It is changed. It is dynamic in nature. We can handle it by using these operators. Now waits. Now when do we use wait? That is the situation. Let's see the situation. In real web applications, elements do not load immediately. Okay, for example, in a particular website or web application, if the page is slow, at that time the locators might not work. Okay, so we can use waits. So it is just telling Selenium to wait. Okay, until the complete page is loaded, and then only the locators can find it out, the elements. So there are two types of wait: explicit wait and implicit wait. What is explicit wait? It means wait until this specific element is ready and then continue. Okay, so we can see that what is the situation here. There is a code here. You can see we are telling the Selenium to wait for 10 seconds. Okay, you can see driver. This is the same code that has been explained here. We're telling to wait for 10 seconds. So Selenium will wait for 10 seconds. We can apply conditions. So here you can see the condition is wait up to 10 seconds until the username field is visible. So that is what it means. Expected conditions dot visibility of element located by. So until and unless the username is visible, the Selenium will wait. So that is what this particular code about. You can see we're telling the WebDriver to wait. Okay, and this is the wait condition, and that is what exactly it is explained here. 10 seconds. Okay, so we're giving conditions also. This is what we call it as what kind of wait. It is called explicit wait. Wait until the specific element is ready. There is one more kind of wait that we can see is implicit wait. Implicit wait is there. Okay, so we can see about implicit wait. So what is implicit wait? Implicit wait means until and unless the entire page is loaded, okay, without any condition. So we'll wait for the entire page to load, that is what we call as implicit wait. We will see that in the next topic. Using index. So this is XPath. XPath can also handle certain dynamic element situation. You can see the example here. So we have three input type text fields like that, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so whenever we have multiple similar elements present on a web page, we want to select only one specific element. So how can we select only one specific input type? So okay, instead of making the Selenium confused by having these three different text boxes, what we can do is we can give by giving this, okay, type is equal to text 1, the first one. Okay, so we're passing it as 1. So it means it will select this one. The Selenium will look for this one. So that is what XPath using index. So we are passing the index. The same thing is indicated here. Same thing is explained here. Select all input field. Okay, but when we pass 1, it select the first element. Index starts from 1, not 0. It's not like array. It starts with 1. So what is it meaning? From all text input fields, select the first one. So this is what handling dynamic elements in Selenium. Okay, we use XPath and synchronization techniques like wait. Okay, and test scripts can become more stable and reliable. Hope it is clear. So this is how the Selenium handle, what is the situation we call it? Handle dynamic elements, okay, which keeps changing. Now moving to the next topic. What is the next topic that we have here? It is automating user actions in Selenium WebDriver. Okay, what do you mean by automating user action? So there are two types of user action that we can think, right? So in a particular website, we can have either keyword event or we can have mouse event. Okay, so how can we automate it? We know that Selenium is automatically providing your username, typing username and password for you and clicking the buttons for you, right? So that is what the context about. So we have keyboard events. So in this keyboard event, we have seen send keys. Okay, so one example is into a particular text field, that is username field, we are passing admin text. Okay, so we can have special keys also. What are special keys? That is we're telling to press enter key. Okay, so apart from enter key, we can pass tab, escape, backspace. Okay, so that is what special keys. See the example here. So in this, what are we typing? We're telling the driver to find the element with name, email, and inside that email box provide this email ID. Then similarly in the email box, we're telling to put tab. So that is what types email and press tab. So why we use all this automatic key user actions? Why we use this particular actions? We use it for form filling. Okay, because in the form we have to provide all the username, password, and then press enter, tab. All these things are there. So that is what the thing. Similarly, we have mouse events also, right? So mouse events also, the Selenium is automatic. What is that? Automating. So what are the mouse events? Clicking, hovering, dragging. Okay, so for click, this is the Selenium code. Driver.find element by.id. What is the ID of that particular button? So that is what button, click. So click. And for double click, this is it. Act dot. So act is what a variable from the actions. Okay, from actions class we have we are creating an act variable of action type, and then what are we acting? Double click. Okay, dot perform. Then context list dot perform. That is right click. Then mouse over. Act dot to move to element. Okay, and element dot perform is mouse hover. So all these things that we perform through keyboard and mouse, okay, we can let Selenium do it for us by passing this command. Drag and drop also, you can see source, target, all this thing is there. Okay, so this is a simple code where we are moving the mouse to a menu. Okay, you know that there are multiple menus. So if you hover it, some action will happen, right? So that is what you, from the action class, we have a variable act. Okay, and using the act, act variable, what are we doing? First we are finding out the menu, okay, ID menu, and using act variable, we are telling to go to that menu and perform. So that is what mouse hovering. Perform is what? Hover action. Okay, so because we want to go and hover it, right? This is hovering, which I'm doing in front of you. It's all hovering, right? Hovering, same thing. So these are the advantages. What are the advantages? Simulates real user behavior, useful for UI testing. So hope you're understanding. So basically, whatever we how we interact with the website, okay, all that interaction is done by Selenium, okay, and that is what we have learned here. So what is the conclusion? Automating keyboard and mouse events allows Selenium to simulate. It is simulate real user interaction, making testing more effective and closer to real world scenarios. So that topic is over. Let me just confirm the recording. Okay, it's been recorded. Next is handling in Selenium WebDriver. So what are we have to handle? See, in a particular website or any web application, there are many things we have to handle. So you can see that in a particular website we can have a submission form, we can have warnings coming. So if Selenium faces similar, like, see, whenever we see such things, we know how to handle it. If you see an alert box, we click on OK, or we click on cancel button, right? So but how Selenium will handle it? So that is what handling in Selenium WebDriver. So we can handle alert box messages, pop-up messages, frames. Okay, so for example, in this window I have a YouTube video. So it means the YouTube video is inside a frame. So in a particular window, we can have many frames possible. We can have multiple windows also, right? For example, now I only have one window. I can have another window like this open. So multiple windows, how Selenium can handle. If the page is slow, how Selenium will handle. So that is what handling means, instructing Selenium how to properly interact with these situations. So Selenium also faces situations. So that is what the first situation, handling alert boxes. Okay, so what is alert box? You know already what is alert box. A small pop-up box. I have given an example. Different types of alert boxes are there. Simple alert, confirmation alert, red prompt. In simple alert, we only click on OK button. Confirmation button, we have OK and cancel button. Right, prompt input field OK. So we'll see different types of alert boxes. So how do we handle alert boxes? See, if in this particular window, if I get an alert box, I'll simply go and click on OK button, right? But there is a challenge here. So we have to tell the Selenium to move from the window and go to that alert box and click on that, right? So there is a switch that is happening. So switch control from web page to alert box. So we have to tell the Selenium to go to that particular box and click on OK or cancel. So that is what switch to alert. Okay, so this is how we write the code in Selenium. So if you want to click on OK in that particular alert box, we provide alert.accept. If you want to cancel it, okay, so cancel, we can use alert.cancel. If you want to display, okay, whichever is happening, for example, there is a message that is coming from the alert box. For example, thank you for submitting. So I can get that text. So alert.getText, so retrieve the message displayed on the alert. So there are various reasons why we can have it. Okay, alert.hello. So it is what in a particular input field. Okay, if I want to enter hello, I can do it with the help of alert.sendKeys. So overall, what is it? First switch to alert. Okay, from the regular window, the Selenium has to move to the alert box, and then it has to perform OK, cancel, read text. So that is what we all discussed here. Okay, so what are the key points? First, we have to switch to alert. Okay, inside alert only, we have all these actions. Okay, dismiss, accept, all these things. So that is what must switch to alert before any action. Use for JavaScript alert only. Supports OK, cancel and input actions. So if you don't switch, what happened? We'll get errors. Next scenario which Selenium has to face is to pop-up. So we know that in a particular, whenever we see website, there are some pop-up coming, any advertisement coming. So we have to click on skip ad. There are a lot of websites with a lot of pop-ups, right? So if Selenium faces similar scenario, how Selenium will face it? Okay, so that is what different types of pop-ups are there. We can talk about it. So browser pop-ups are there, handle like Windows. Authentication pop-ups are there. So for example, if you have going to a particular website, so you are only allowed if you provide username and password. So that pop-up. Then we can have hidden HTML pop-up. Okay, it is a part of web page video. So how can we have hidden pop-up? So hidden pop-ups, you can close it. Okay, by id.close.click. So Selenium is going to web page document object. So how Selenium is closing this particular, so suppose in this particular window there is a box appearing and I want to click on close button. Okay, so how can I click on the close button? So I'll tell Selenium, the Selenium will go to our using the inspect option, that is what the document object model. Selenium will look for the close button, id is equal to close, and it will click on it. So that is what this particular code, the Selenium is looking for an id with close in that particular page, and it will click on it. Okay, it's a simple scenario. Next is what we can have authentication pop-up also, right? Apart from hidden pop-up, we can have authentication pop-up. See this example. So in this particular case, we have to provide username and password, right? So driver.get username and password. So you can see, so this particular website is asking for username and password. So when we provide it, automatically it will be completed. So this is what one kind of pop-up box. Okay, so what is happening basically, you're passing username and password in the URL. Okay, so you're passing credentials inside the URL. So the browser automatically logs in. Okay, automatic login will happen and the pop-up will be skipped. Okay, and the next one is handling frames. So I told you, see, if you open a YouTube video, what we can say, for example, our college website, if you see it, we can have, see, I can have a YouTube video playing here. So it is a different frame. Okay, so frames, I think there is an diagram here, you can see that. If this is a particular window, this is a frame, this is a small box. It could be a YouTube video. So that YouTube video is inside a frame in that window. So in a window, we can have multiple frames. So if I want to interact in this something in different frames, there is different contents in different frames. So how can we deal with it? So that is what you can see. A frame is basically a web page inside another web page. A YouTube video embedded in a site. It is one example. A payment gateway. Okay. A Google map or advertisement. All that we see on a particular web page is inside a particular frame. So that what is the challenge here? Selenium cannot directly access element inside a frame. Selenium cannot directly go here. Okay, so it's a problem. So the problem is that each of this frame has individual its own document object model. So that is what Selenium cannot do it. We have to instruct the Selenium to do it. So how we can do it? That is what switching to frame. So in a particular window, if we have multiple frames, we have to switch to that respective frame and do certain action. So before interacting, you must enter the frame. Before interacting, you must enter the frame. So that is what driver.switch to frame. So switch to frame means frame 0 means our main frame. Switch to first frame on the page. So that is what, if we have multiple frames using this index, we can switch. That is what, switch to first frame on the page. Okay. So if this is the what, this could be the first frame. So I can switch to it. That is what switching in frame. Next is by name or ID. Driver.switch to frame. So a frame can have a name also, right? So we can switch to that particular frame with the help of name also. Switch to name. So you just write it once, okay, in a notebook. If you just write it down, you'll be able to relate it. It's code are mostly same, okay, and you'll be able to write. Once you write, you will be able to remember. Also in exam, writing code is not that very important, but theoretically, if you're able to write it, all this thing, even if you're not able to write the code, it's completely fine. Okay, but try to write it. Okay, try to write it because it's not a practical subject. It is a theoretical subject. Okay, but if you write it, it is well and good. Then by web element. Okay, so what is that? we are telling the driver to find a frame and then switch. That is what this particular case scenario. So it is most reliable. So in general, what is it? You're telling Selenium, stop looking at the main page. Now work inside this particular frame. So for example, in this particular window, there is a YouTube video that is playing, or any other advertisement is being played. So I can tell the Selenium to go to that particular frame and close it. Okay, that is what it is. So when it comes to frame, what is it? Switching back is a very common function. Switching back means what? For example, back to main page. So I can tell by to the Selenium by driver.switch to default content. So it will go to the full main page, because on the page there are multiple frames. So I need to switch back, right? So back to main page means default content. Then if I can also switch it with the help of parent frame. So it means it will go to one level up. So basically all these frames are 1, 2, 3, 4. So it will go, it's like, it's in a sequence. So we can do all this switching. That is what switching back. So there is a real full example. If you understand this example, it will be helpful. You can see that there is a login frame. Imagine there is a login frame. Okay. There is a login box. Inside that login box, there is username and password. So the Selenium is supposed to go to that particular login frame. See, it is not login page, it is login frame. That is, there is a window. Inside that window, there is a login frame. So I need to tell this Selenium to go to that particular login frame. Okay. And, provide the username admin. Okay. And then what happens after that? It has to switch to the default content. So that is what. So in the particular frame, we are only passing username as admin, and then I need to exit that frame. So that is what this particular scenario. Next is what similarly Selenium also needs to handle with multiple windows, right? Because a particular web application can have multiple windows also. So if there are 3 windows, the Selenium has to decide, they have to switch it, right? So just like users interact with multiple windows, we have to close it, we have to minimize it, maximize it. So that can be also done with the help of Selenium. So there's a small code, you can see it. So what is it? Store parent window, get all windows, okay, identify child window. So this is what, again, something about frames, you can look into it. Okay, this is the code you can look into. So that is what, there is a parent window and there is a child window. Okay, so how we can switch it, that is what being explained here. So how it is switching, you can see that in the step 1, what is that? There is a condition, driver.get windows handles. So first thing what we're going to handle is store parent window. So this save the current window. Okay, so it is like remember where I came from. Next, get all windows, string child driver.get window handles. So it will get all the windows. Okay, that is parent and child. Now, so what happens? It will the Selenium will remember all these windows in the form of IDs. So also it can compare. Okay, whether it is child window is equal to parent window. Okay, so that is what. So if we have collect all the windows information stored in the Selenium in the form of IDs, so it can differentiate parent window and child window. And then once it understands it, it can switch. Okay, it can easily switch. Okay, so that is how Selenium can handle windows. Okay, because Selenium remember each of this in the form of IDs. So it is a parent window, child window, and again another child window. Okay, so if we have 3 windows like this, two windows will have parents, and the last one will be the default window. So that is a general understanding regarding. So write about this also, handling multiple windows. Okay, so you should be able to theoretically write about it. Okay, if you're able to write the code, well and good. Okay, same code is explained here. So that is what, always store parent window before switching. Okay, all the code is explained in the comments. Okay, just go through it. Next, very important is weights in Selenium. Okay, what are weights in Selenium? I told you there are 2 types of weights. One is implicit weight. So what is implicit weight? It tells whenever you search for an element, wait up for 10 seconds before failing. Okay, any element. Okay, implicit wait. So driver.manage timeouts, implicit wait is implicit wait. Earlier we had learned about explicit wait, where we have given a condition where it wait for the username. But here it's not like, it is a common command to the Selenium. Okay, to wait for 10 seconds After that only we'll do it. So we have in code also we have seen, right, thread.sleep we were using to run that code. So that is what 10 second it will wait. Next, so all the this is all the introduction. See, element do not appear instantly. Okay, Selenium has to wait for the page to load. If the Selenium page is not loaded properly, Selenium will produce these errors. So that is what we have to tell the Selenium to wait for 10 seconds. That is what implicit wait. Okay, hope it is clear. So that is what. So what are the features? It applies to the entire script, automatically used for every find element simple. So there is another example, explicit wait. So in explicit wait, what is the difference? You can see in explicit wait there is a condition, but in implicit wait there is no condition. Okay, because we are waiting commonly 10 seconds. What is explicit wait? You can see okay, it is what it waits for the username field to be visible. See, wait only for this specific condition before moving forward. So what are the difference between implicit wait and explicit wait? So in implicit it is global, explicit we are waiting for a specific element to load. Flexibility is lower, higher, performance is lower in when it comes to implicit, but when it comes to explicit, because we are providing conditions, it is faster. Okay, so what is to remember? Implicit wait means wait for everything, explicit wait means wait only when needed. That is a condition. So that is what a very simple scenario. Hope it is clear. Okay, I'll keep the recording for the now, and I'll explain test ng framework in the next video. Okay.